Hello, good afternoon. My name is Noah Rodriguez. This is for GCU for our class of CYB, Cybersecurity 515. It's a quick and short video and presentation of storage and security. And it's a pleasure to meet you, Professor Hermano. Uh, but I'll go ahead and get ready to present. So we have here storage, security, and enterprise networks to help fellow students, understand and briefly review security storage protocols and, ideas here and there. Windows versus Linux, and of course, for our CYB 515 class. I have here why storage security matters. Storage is a foundational part of enterprise IT. Of course, we have what's ransomware, insiders. Then we have a misconfiguration threaten stored data. So like people that could use our data against us in a sense. So secure storage requires backup, recovery, access control, and encryption. So if we mix these for an enterprise network, it can go a long way for the business in the sense of it will help us and give us assurance when we need to restore that data in the event of, we lose our current work, then our backup can help us with critical business operations. So that's one major factor that why security matters in an enterprise network. Of course, we have here a few operating systems for our computer devices, such as Windows and Linux. There are some similarities between them both. They both use hierarchical file systems, both organize data into directories or folders. Both support permissions and access controls, and both can be managed securely in enterprise environments. And of course, there are server operating systems as well versus regular home, you know, OSs for the individual, but there are similarities as well. Windows file system structure, it uses a drive letters such as C and D, commonly uses NTFS. NTFS supports ACLs, encryption, quotas, metadata, and journaling. Integrates well with Microsoft Enterprise Tool. So Microsoft has always been one of those operating systems that's very flexible and of course is very useful for let's say managers or if you handle a network and it's compatible, with operating system of Microsoft, it's basically one way to make things kind of simple for the business and the individual. Linux file systems is a bit more specific. They have a bit more learning curve, versus Microsoft. But Linux uses a single directory tree beginning at the root. Devices are mounted into that tree. Common directories include etc, home, var, usr, and boot. Often uses file systems such as ext4. So of course, YouTube and other, schools can teach us how to use Linux. And of course, a lot of people are self-taught as well. Now, Windows versus Linux differences. Windows uses a drive letter model. Linux uses a root and mount point model. Windows emphasizes graphical administration and broad desktop compatibility, whereas Linux emphasizes customization, scripting, and server efficiency. So there are some difference between those two operating systems. We are leaving out, right, Apple Mac OS right now, but the most widely used is for servers, and businesses, Windows and Linux, which is why we're doing a presentation on these two. Now, business preferred for back-end infrastructure. Linux is up there. It has lower licensing costs, reduced vendor lock-in, strong long-term flexibility and scalability. Windows remains useful for user-facing compatibility needs. So it's a very popular Linux operating system. Enterprise Storage Solution 1 is NAS, Network Attached Storage, provides file-level access useful for shared folders, collaboration, and backups. It's easier to deploy and manage, usually less expensive than SAN. Whereas solution number 2, an idea is SAN, which is Storage Area Network. It provides block level access. It's built for high performance and low latency and common for databases, virtualization, and mission critical systems. Typically more complex and expensive than NAS. So has more to do in a sense with SAN. Now the comparison is that NAS and SAN is a NAS is file-based and simpler to manage. SAN is block-based and optimized for speed. NAS is usually a lower cost, whereas SAN is better for high-performance critical workloads. Whereas, we are in Grand Canyon University, a Christian school with Christian views. So a Christian worldview and ethics is that stewardship requires responsible use of resources, right? We want to be ethical with the data we have. Protecting data also protects people, trust, and business relationships. The cheapest option is not always the most ethical option. Ethical decisions should balance cost, security, and accountability. Now, ethical recommendation under cost constraints, some ideas and views that we can share here is that we can choose to secure and sustainable storage, not just the lowest upfront price. We can prioritize backups, encryption, access control, and recovery readiness. We can also avoid decisions that create preventable long-term losses. And ethical decisions support both people and the mission. So of course, a team usually comes together and see what's the most ethical route to take. Now there is business continuity and cost control. Strong storage security reduces downtime. Reliable backup and recovery lower recovery expenses, and better resilience supports continuity of operations. Smart security investments improve long-term economic efficiency. So there's a fun story, basically, or an important story from one of our professors from Grand Canyon University is that they saw an individual, let's say like a server manager. When they backed up the data, they put it in a USB and they left it on top of the computer, right? The idea is that that's not very safe because in the event that, let's say the burning build burns down, God forbid, then you lose both the computer and the backup data on top of the computer. So now you have to spend more money and resources to, get the business running up again. Whereas if you take the proper steps and efficiency methods, you can avoid, mistakes like that, costly mistakes as well. Whereas the conclusion is that Windows and Linux share core file system principles. Their structures differ in organization and administration. NAS and SAN meet different enterprise needs, and ethical storage choices strengthen continuity and help control costs. So there's just some brief and simple ideas for enterprise, big business server systems and storage. And basically, as us students learn, right, it does help us to better understand the concept by sharing it with other people, like other fellow students. So these presentations can be very helpful for the individuals such as myself and anyone that's interested in learning about cybersecurity and storage ways to help secure and maintain your data. But as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate everything being taught in this class. So thank you, Professor Hermano. My name again is Noah, and have a good night. Thank you.